Welcome to Backstory and Beyond. My name is John Daniel, and I'm humbled to be your host. But I'm thrilled to be here with Dr. Brij Mohan, Dean Emeritus of the School of Social Work at LSU. Thank you, Doctor, for coming in.
Thank you, John.
It's an
And
honor.
it's mutual. I'm very honored to be here to talk.
Well, Doc, what you've done with your career in the eyes of many, including me, is phenomenal. And one of the things that our guests immediately want to know is what's the backstory on individuals like yourself who've accomplished so much on behalf of serving people? Please, sir, take your time. We're just going to follow with what you say.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Daniel. As Sartre said, life begins on the other side of despair. Not many people know that during childhood, I was not at all designed to study. I flunked in eighth grade, and that humiliated. And since my father was disappointed, I thought I, I have better ways to make use of my own little consciousness. I was born and raised in India,
Mm-hmm.
also educated in India,
Yes, sir.
and it was always my father's dream that come to United States and be a professor at Harvard. I told my dad I may and may not go to Harvard, but Harvard will have my books. And LSU, in my judgment, is a better place to know America and its conscience. So I'm very pleased to look at my journey from Lucknow University to Louisiana University, which is almost the same, LU, LSU. They both are uh, state universities, and I'm a product of these two great institutions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it sounds like that disappointment was actually used as a reason to become your best rather than using it as an excuse. Failure is a master teacher. I was having a discussion with um, Gautam Chopra, son of Dr. Deepak Chopra, just a few days ago. And I shared with him in my martial arts background, failure was always a master teacher, but it is in life too. So, sir, thank you for taking a little time to share about your backstory and how your father impacted you too in terms of LSU rather than Harvard. Please share a little bit about the mission, vision, values, objectives that you had as the leader of the School of Social Work at LSU.
Uh, you see, I had my master's degree in social work in 1960, followed by a PhD from Lucknow University.
Mm-hmm.
And during the early 60s, there was a uh, revolution in the mind of young people to change the society.
Yes.
As I told you, I saw poverty, inequality inbuilt in the Indian culture.
Yes, sir.
And when I speak about my mind, many people think I'm a traitor to Indian culture, which I passionately refute because what is oppressive to uh, any democracy uh, is the future of the downtrodden, marginalized people. And it has been my humble effort to transform thinking, habits, and practices, what I call social practice,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to uplift humanity and save it from itself. And when I came to Louisiana State University. I was teaching at University of Wisconsin temporarily because I found Wisconsin too hot, too cold. I couldn't withstand the fury of northern glaciers. And I remember it was March 18, 1975. I flew from Oshkosh, Wisconsin to LSU. Dr. Dean Wiest, who hired me here, he showed me around LSU lakes about 9 o'clock. It was a moonlight, and he told me, "Brady, I'm showing you all these to to inspire you to choose LSU." And I never really thought twice to join LSU. LSU has given me a purpose. Lucknow University gave me an identity, and I have, within my humble limitations, tried to make a meaning out of being and becoming. LSU gave me an opportunity to assume several academic roles. And these roles are, in my mind, extremely important to build good faculty and good students. A university is not recognized by the amount of funds it raises. University is recognized by the teachers, the scholars who produce students better than themselves. And I take great pride uh, to, to say that I've been very fortunate. One of my students has endowed it uh, through LSU Foundation, a Brij Mohan Distinguished Professor Award. This is very coveted, I'm told. In fact, I came to Baton Rouge this time to be at the award ceremony on April 2nd. But unfortunately, due to personal circumstances, I'm going back day after tomorrow. And I ran into John, and we had talked about conversing, dialoguing, certain things, which I'm trying to spell out here.
Let me reflect on some things you said, Doctor. This concept of a professor, a teacher, and that's how you build yourself first and foremost, always as a teacher. A teacher wanting the student not just to be engaged, but to be a curious colleague and even surpass what the teacher knows. That's what I heard you say. That's a very unique stance. Please elaborate a little bit.
You see, John, when I was a dean, I made sure that I, in fact, I had told the vice chancellor that I will be a whole time dean, but I'll find time to go to the class and teach a course. I always taught a course every semester,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, and it's not one of my pet subjects. I would go and recycle my lecture every time. No, uh, the whole approach, scientific approach to domestic violence, to be taught at a university level, is my creation. When I
Mhm.
came in '75, I was on television, local television, and I conducted an institute on social violentology,
Mm-hmm.
my own phrasing, and for 3 days, uh, the local TV channel interviewed me. I so I instituted a curriculum for studying violence in interpersonal relationship and beyond.
Yes, sir.
But primarily, I I moved to social policy because I found many of the problems which seem to be micro oriented, but they have origins in the systemic failures. So I moved to social policy for two reasons. First, my academic grandmother, a legend, late Professor Evelyn M. Burns, who was a professor of social policy at Columbia University. You can see I'm still wearing a Columbia
Yes, sir.
jacket. And yeah, I called him. He was on the President's Commission, which wrote Social Security Act 19.
Which president?
The, it was Roosevelt.
Oh,
FDR.
okay,
Sorry.
okay.
FDR. Sorry, my cognition is kind of.
You're doing just fine.
Yes.
And I'm
it was-
proud of you. We're all proud of you.
It was FDR. And his protege, Dr. Zafar Hassan, was my teacher, mentor, who brought me to the United States.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that continues. Both of my children have degrees from Columbia University, but it was not my opportunity to attend Columbia as a student. But I'm blessed that I have maintained some of my work at the level of Chicago and Columbia, and I continue to do that. And I try to impart, institutionalize some of the academic norms at LSU. I tried my best, but I will not go in details. But I think I became a victim of my own success. I tried to change so many things institutionally in social work that have sustained the quality of social work education at LSU. So I put LSU social work on the world map. And I did so passionately, but my hubris to change radically so many things at a time when it was not locally very popular was expensive to me. But I don't regret it. My school is not better than it was before I joined it. And it's amazing how social work students are transforming the pockets of social misery in different parts, in different countries. I get sometimes an email from Hong Kong, another time from Middle East, another time from England and Australia. And by the way, I can add to this. LSU was, when I was trying to leave Wisconsin, I had 3 jobs. One of them included a prestigious appointment at the University of Queensland in Australia. They interviewed me in Milwaukee, and they gave me tenured position, including all allowances.
Wow.
Which included the transportation of my car and library and my family.
Incredible.
I declined it.
Yes.
And I joined LSU on a grant-funded year-to-year salary. And some of my friends told me, you might regret it. I said, let me see. I love Louisiana. The azaleas were blooming. And when I came, those amelias, red flowers around the old law center. My office was in the old law building. They were blooming, and I thought, I found a home. And
it's a small world, Doc.
yes,
I actually did 2 years of high school right outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
oh really?
in something called the Better Chance. But we were there at the same time. I graduated from high school in 1975, Shorewood High School. and went on to Cornell University from there.
Uh,
But I know what you mean about it being cold in Wisconsin. So, and the beauty here in Louisiana is can't be surpassed anywhere.
Absolutely.
So I love what you're saying, Doc. And clearly, based upon the accomplishments you made, um, I am sure that you have a few books that are part of that body of work. I'd love for you to kind of reflect on some of the things you talk. You mentioned about domestic violence before. Now you don't have to go in that direction, but that's an important topic in today's society. And so please take your time, sir, whatever you'd like to talk about in terms of your
my doctoral dissertation was based, I think I was probably one of the earliest, if not the first, maybe first, social scientist who went to the m- mental hospitals and learn and research the situations which create human insanity. When I got my doctorate and I published this as social psychiatry in India, it was published by Minerva in 1973. After completing my study of mental patients, when my consciousness expanded, I found that this society and certain institutions in society, they are crazier than the people uh, inside the mental hospital.
Give me a pound, Doc.
And it proved to be very prescient. But I see more and more that I was not wrong. So my focus in writing and talking and publishing has been quite global and encompassing uh, psychiatry, social sciences, humanities, including psychology, sociology. Of course, I'm a social worker. But I don't see the fellows of islands of knowledge as functional very well. So I try to approach everything from an interdisciplinary perspective. Uh,
Reflection. I had the honor of running a couple large organizations that required a substantial amount of social workers. One right here in Louisiana was called Louisiana Spirit Hurricane Recovery. So I had several hundred social workers associated with that. The other is Father Flanagan's Boys Town, where we had 10,000 abandoned, abused, neglected children, all of which who were subjected to a lot of trauma. What I found is there were many social workers who brought brilliance to the table. But there was that Harvard or Yale social worker who had never been in New Orleans or Philadelphia. And it was difficult for them to catch up because they hadn't lived the experiences of some of the people that were trying to help. How would you, in your approach to social work, help that young person who's interested, engaged, enthusiastic, but just hasn't had a chance to have lived experiences in place where there's so much trauma?
it's a very good but a difficult question. Social workers have a very noble heart and a good mind, but if they we impart social work education is not what is required. And I recently published a book, and its 2025 edition just appeared last week. The Future of Social Work, so 7 Pillars of Practice. And
Put up one more time. Everybody can see it. Yes, sir. Please go right ahead.
my it could be my epitaph. The goal of social work should be the end of itself.
Hmm.
People don't understand what I'm talking about. So I had to write a book.
Yes, sir.
And as a social worker, we go visit a family, do this, and file a few insurance forms,
Mhm.
and we call practice. I don't think that is a very good social. I go beyond this, and what I have designed is a new paradigm of 7 pillars
Hmm.
in which I'm trying to go into the societal complexities and the dialectics of suffering and make the students understand that systemic inequalities don't need band-aids. They need a real social transformation. One of my books published about 20 years ago,
Hmm.
I've dedicated to my students. And that's one of my best books. Unfortunately, I don't have it. It is social rethinking social transformation.
Hmm.
And I uh, I published about 27 books
Yes,
as
sir.
of today. My recent book just came last week,
Hmm.
published by Barnes Nobles.
Hmm. What's the name of the book, sir?
The name of the book is The Return of the Leviathan, but the subtitle is a kind of sequel to my last year's book with the same name.
Hmm.
That is Being for Others. Being for others is beyond uh, being with others, or philosophically, what they call being in itself. Being for others is Jean Paul Sartre concept. And many people have undeservedly called me Sartre of social work, but I've been inspired by his philosophy, and uh, I have explored in my recent most book, which is, I'm sorry I could not bring it. I've ordered it,
That's
but
okay. That's okay.
they have shipped it to my California address, and I've tried to analyze the dynamics of a broken society which endures political nihilism without doing much about it. And the basic premise of my thinking is our society. That means the society per se, not particularly Americans.
Hmm.
I'm addressing issues globally and very impersonally. I confront, I see it that the social contract which saved us from ourselves,
Hmm.
this social contract which was designed by Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, has been broken because the governmental dysfunctionalities have not yielded the expected results that were expected out of this social contract. As a matter of fact, I have almost launched a movement, what I call Enlightenment 2, which involves social contract 2, in which I would like to say the power of knowledge as a weapon to humanize science. We have accomplished highest level of ingenuity to destroy the whole world.
Hmm.
And I find it very troublesome because many things, AI included,
Hmm.
uh, could be our nemesis. There is a there is an imminent danger of human
Hmm.
extinction, and I'm not alone saying this.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, the genius uh, physicist Hawkins said that AI will destroy humanity.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's my approach to science and
Just a reflection
humanities.
on what you said. One thing for sure, in my past, I was raised in a very troubled circumstance in North Philadelphia. And what was the support that allowed me to see a vision that would take me further was circles of support. It was a sense of belonging that occurred with my family and the people who love me. It was building self worth in that process. As we talk about technology and its impact on the family, children, our society, the only way to fight that is to build that self worth that leads to critical thinking, that leads to a vision of service and purpose rather than being selfish. And from time immemorial, and this is my last statement here, man's inhumanity to man has existed. But it's through social work, through the ideas that you've articulated with your colleagues, that we find ways to deflect and redirect these potential missiles coming at us. I don't know when the world's going to stop. AI has been around since 1956 from Dartmouth University, and it hasn't stopped yet. But I do think the warnings, I do think the precautions you're saying to take based upon the bodies of work and the people you've worked with are very important to pay attention to. But the one essence of what I heard you say is we've got to build something from the inside and have circles of support in the ecosystem around people that they would serve and not always want to be serviced.
Yes, John. The concluding epilogue of my recent book, that is Being for Others, uh, is titled The Killers of Superman.
Woo!
And uh, the notion of Superman here relates to Nietzsche's Übermensch. And I
Please translate that
Übermensch,
German.
Übermensch literally means Superman. And the Nazis took advantage of Nietzsche's conception and they perverted his philosophy. But Nietzsche's concept was, and I've written so many things along that line,
Yes, sir.
uh, human beings, I for one, you for others, everyone, the evolution of human race is not yet complete.
Mm-hmm.
The human being is a social creature which has not attained the level of Übermensch. And why? It is simply because, partly because of the nihilism, militarism, and the perversion of science. When enlightened, when enlightened, when the 18th, at the dawn of 18th century, when Newton invented science and various disciplines sprouted, the notion of the invisible, almighty God was just vanished because science started explaining
Mm-hmm.
through reason and logic and experimentation. So, but that process somehow or the other became paradoxical at once because what it achieved, it also undone, it also uh, destroyed its basic ultimate ethos that was to uplift humanity uh, as a very creative force. And I think we are uh, we we have an opportunity to achieve that stage, but we are not collectively uh, approaching that because of certain contradictions in societal arrangements, and that is evidently demonstrated by institutional meltdown. And what I'm thinking and writing about is a kind of universal humanism
Hmm.
where the force of boundaries, territoriality, and this innate pugnacity is duly sublimated towards making us making us realize that we are human beings and our destiny is in our own hands if we can recognize this as a responsibility.
Absolutely, sir. And clearly, that's the way to go together. That everybody rises like a ship when the tide comes up.
Absolutely.
The challenge we have, as you well know, is this one word: power. And with power comes privilege, prestige, usually leading to some kind of perversion anyway. But the key here is we've got to tap into what you just said. It is the essence of our humanity. And there's no greater aspect of our humanity than serving other people to help them become their best.
That's what I meant, being for others.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it, what you bring to me as a human being is something close to just simple faith and belief. Now, I have faith, as I'm a Christian, in a God who's all knowing, all powerful, et cetera, et cetera. But it only works if one accepts it. And so the social construct of what a social worker does, of what you've written in the body of work, is so very important. You've accomplished a lot, sir. What do you want to do in the remaining years of your life?
John, I turned 85, and
What do you put in your coffee, sir? Because I want some of it.
and believe it or not, I learned swimming in Baton Rouge when I was 78 years old, and many people said, "Are you crazy?"
Mm.
And I learned with passion, and now I can go to Olympics almost.
Okay, okay.
Unfortunately, I had a cancer surgery 6 months ago. I'm still under medical surveillance, and my wife is also not keeping good health. So I I'm left with certain years, and not that I'm not afraid of dying,
Yes, sir.
but I would die for a cause rather than die in an accident. I'm afraid
So
of
say that again, sir. Please say that one more time.
I would die for a cause anytime, but I would rather die for a cause rather than dying on the street by a bullet or in an accident, which is not an impossibility. My wife walks all the time in late evening, and I watch mo- for
Yes, sir.
her to arrive at the expected time.
Yes, sir.
The elephant in the room is that incomplete creature who is prowling on the street and being used as a weapon to marginalize people who are already poor, discriminated, and suffering the yoke of centuries old injustices and cruelties inflicted upon the soul of the society.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is there anything I would be remiss in not asking you in our discussion? Is there anything that we've missed that you want to emphasize as we come to a close?
And I have, as I said, I was, I want to live every moment of my life with my children and grandchildren. I'm blessed to have three grand,
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
and that is the main reason why I'm leaving Louisiana. Mm, I love Baton Rouge, believe me.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Wherever I go, I find my students. And that is the greatest honor and pride that I have accomplished. And I live in Santa Barbara, and thanks to economics, because I see not too many non-white people there,
Yes.
me included.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm there not because of the serenity and tranquility and the beauty of ocean and hills. I'm there to spend some time with my daughter and her daughter and my children. My son lives in Los Angeles, and he runs a, he is founder and CEO of marginal media, which almost, not almost, exclusively produces films for marginalized people. His last film, She Taught Love, is a classic in my own mind. May not be running in popular theaters, but I'm very proud of my children. And I want to spend my time in thinking, reading, writing uh, with my children, near my children. And I have two incomplete books. One of them is my own memoir, and I'm working on it. And there is a publisher who wants to publish this. There is a philosopher in India. She is a philosopher, professor of philosophy in Bhutan,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to be my official biographer. I doubt if that will be possible because I cannot afford to sponsor a biographer.
Understood.
I
Understood.
cannot. I cannot
I think
because
you could write it yourself.
so I might. It is not my narcissism. It is just a creative sublimation of my suppressed resentment, sublimated uh, anger.
Mm-hmm.
But I will take the high road to demonstrate that the power of pen is greater than the might of sword.
Yes, sir. I hear a humble confidence in your heart that comes through your voice. What I hear is that you are humble, you're hungry for the truth, which is a hunger that not everybody has today, and you're honest. I'd like to, as we come to a close, just to say that I love what your son is doing with the marginal films. It seems to me something done on you would be a very nice piece. And I look forward to that chapter. Perhaps we both can follow up. As you know, I'm working with people who are filmmakers in LA too.
Oh,
But
Sanjay,
Gotham Chopra is
yes,
one of them.
Sanjay is quite uh, very well known, and I will not be, use superlatives. How he's very creative and very honored to.
I'm looking forward.
He's my inspiration. My daughter is. I forgot to tell you. My father was a Brahmin, physician, legendary,
Wow.
philosopher, and philanthropist. At the same time, me, my siblings, my mother, we lived in poverty. Why? Every morning at 6 o'clock, I would see 10, 15, 20, 100 patients by noon, and he's alone. Sometimes I used to help him in dispensing the medicines, making powders, and um, filling up the bottles of different kind of mixtures. My father was a personal physician of the local king,
Mm-hmm.
Kishore Raman Singh, and the elephant would come to take him to see the Maharani or anyone falling sick. And I debuted as a novelist, and the name of my uh, single solitary novel is The Death of an Elephant. I saw the death of a real elephant
Mm.
who had a very special role in my life. And he was killed by one of the rival caretakers,
Yes,
that
sir.
poor
Yes, sir.
creature. And that that episode has stuck to my consciousness so much that I wrote a novel. And that novel is semi autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken some literary licenses to hide identities and personal references, but I continue to follow that. And I'm not religious, but I've invented my religion uh, to see human beings as at the Übermensch
Mm-hmm.
of, of a, if not a perfect human being, but a noble, kind-hearted, peaceful person who would create a new society in which people will not kill each.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly, everything requires focused training, time on task. And, sir, you are an example of that.
I'm honored, John, that you took your time, precious uh, equipments
No, you,
to
sir,
to to
please.
to dialogue with me, and I'm very honored and grateful.
Well, it's at the heart, sir. Your
My
heart,
honor
head, and
and
habit are
privilege to be
always
here.
that way.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank
Thank
you.